Many professional motion graphics you see online are not made with complex assets. They actually start with something very simple, shapes. And inside After Effects, the shape tool is the foundation for building them. This is how to animate. Let's turn ideas into motion. The shape tool in After Effects allows you to create vector shapes directly inside your composition. You can create rectangles, polygons, ellipses, stars, and ton of different shapes inside After Effects. You will find these tools in the top toolbar. If you click and hold the shape icon, you will see multiple options like rectangle tool, ellipse tool, polygon tool, and star tool. These are all kind of shapes you will get in After Effects. And with these shapes, you can create infinite numbers of shapes. So in this tutorial, we are going to discuss all about the shape tool. To create a shape, simply select the tool and click and drag inside your composition. If you hold shift, you will draw a perfect square, or if you draw without holding a shift, you will get a rectangle of any shape you want. One thing to notice here is that if no layer is selected, After Effects will automatically create a new shape layer. But if you select an existing layer before drawing, it will create a mask instead of a shape. This is something where most beginners often confused. Let's talk about customizing your shapes. Once a shape is created, you can adjust its fill color, stroke color, and stroke width. Now let's see each of them one by one. If I go to this fill tab, you can see that here's the option of solid color. It means that it will be shown as a full solid shape. But if I click this gradient, it will become a gradient. Let me just change the colors so you can properly see what is happening. As I applied the gradient, so here are two colors I have to select. One is white and one is black. Now I am changing the black one to something like purplish and white one to something like bluish. For now, if I go back, now you can see a radial gradient, where a gradient is basically radial. Means one color is at the mid of the shape and the other is around it. Now if I can go to this tab again, you can also see that I can also adjust the opacity of the layer to very low and to very high. And one thing to notice is that if you are adjusting the opacity from here, then the opacity will not be changing from the layer. It's only changing the fill opacity. Let me just clear you this. Change the stroke to the solid, and if I can increase the stroke. Now if I can go to the stroke panel and reduce the opacity, you can see that the only stroke opacity is reducing. It is not affecting the fill opacity. If I can make it to 100% and change the fill opacity, you can see that the fill opacity is only changing, not the stroke one. One thing to notice is that if I can make the opacity of fill to 50%, let's say, and opacity of stroke to, let's say, 75%. Now if I can change the opacity from this layer, you can see that the overall opacity of the shape is reducing and increasing. So this is the overall opacity of the shape, and these are specifically for fill and the stroke. Now let's see radial and linear gradients. Let's make the stroke 0 and fill opacity to 100%. And now if I can select this linear gradient, you can see that this ramps is going to happen, and you can adjust this ramp of color from this icon. Now you have to select the pointer, which color you are changing. Once you select it, you can move your cursor anywhere you want in the color tab, so you can adjust the colors of the shape. And if I can select this marker, I can adjust the colors of the other gradient. From here you can adjust the location of the ramp. Like if I can drag this towards the purple, and it's more of the yellow instead of purple. And if I can move this in exactly opposite way, so the opposite thing happen. You can also add a marker here by just clicking here and change its color to something like blue or any color you want. And I can adjust these markers as well. I want to delete this marker, I will select it and hit delete. Now come to opacity section. If I select this marker, the opacity of the yellow color will decrease and it will die to 0, or anywhere I want to keep it. Or if I select this marker, the opacity of the purple one is going down. Let's move to the radial gradient. The same things are happening as in the linear gradient. These markers are for opacity. These markers are for color adjustments. The opacity and the location of the colors all are same as in the linear gradient. Now your layer is selected, and if you hit the fill tab and then click OK, now you can see these 2 points here. These 2 points are adjusting basically the colors. If I can hold and drag this point away, you can see that the yellow color is widening up and is moving and overlapping to the purple one. And from here, if you are thinking that the colors are not like going very good and I want to reverse the colors, one thing you can do is go to this tab and just simply move this marker around. Now you have the reverse of the colors. I know that the visuals are not so much pretty or attractive. This class is to basically give you the every minor details of shape layers or any other tool you are using in After Effects. So please keep in mind, this is for the guidance, not for the very attractive visuals. We will make some attractive and top-notch visuals in the future also. But for now, this is the tutorial for the beginners to deep dive into the After Effects. Now for the stroke section, we have all the same properties as of fill. Like we can increase or decrease the opacity, we can adjust the modes of the fill or the stroke, or we can make it linear, or we can make it gradient. Let's just say I'm making it a radial gradient. If I can go to this color tab, firstly, I have to increase the size of the stroke as well, so I can visualize what I'm doing. Now if I can go to this tab and adjust the colors, this one is for blue and this marker is going to be somewhat green. So you can see that this is the radial gradient of the strokes. So you can adjust these bars to change the position of the colors of the stroke. You can expand the shape layer inside the timeline to access more properties like anchor point, position, scale, rotation and opacity. With the position, as you know that you will adjust the position. I'm not going to waste your time, and same is for scaling, rotation and opacity. If we can go to the content panel, we can adjust the rectangle path, gradient stroke, fill, transform and other transform properties. And I'm going to talk about all these in some other lectures in detail. For now, if I can just give you a go through of these properties, like you can adjust the size, same as the scale, but some of the differences do exist. That's why the size is here. And you are wondering why the position properties here, as we already see the position properties at 2 places, in the transform rectangle properties and in the transform section also. I'm going to talk about all these in some other lecture, and these properties, as I explained you, that these are the same as the stroke as we talked about earlier. What's the difference is you can adjust the colors point by point from here, and you are adjusting the colors clicking and dragging the markers and pointers. So that's the basic difference, not more than that. And you are also thinking what the add I can do. It is also adding some more flexibility into the animations or adding some crisp into the animation. So we will talk about all those properties in separate video. And for now, that's all from the 2D layers, and now we are jumping towards the 3D layers. Adobe has introduced 3D shape layers in After Effects 2026. These allow you to create 3D shape layer instead of just 2D, where you can activate the new 3D shape options. Your shapes can have depth, perspective and real lighting. Now you can see I have the option to move it or rotate it in the y-axis. If I can go to red one, I can move it or rotate it, you can say, in the x-axis, and similarly to the blue one, I am rotating it into the z-axis. Now this is the 3D shape. You can adjust its lighting, its shadows, perspective, anything you want, because now it has x, y and z axis. If I can go to the layer properties, you can see ton of the new properties just unlocked into the 3D. These are the same properties as in the 2D. Position, scale, orientation is like the changing of the angle in x, y and z axis, and these are the compositing options for lights and shadows, compositing options, mesh options, where you can get different shapes like cone, you can get torus, or you can even get a sphere, and many other shapes as you can imagine. Why I am saying this? Because by changing the properties of the shape layer, you can have any shape you want. And these properties are like, if you are starting or you are a beginner in After Effects, you don't have to go through all these properties in the After Effects. You just need basic understanding how the 3D shape layer works. And in the upcoming lectures, I am going into detail of every bit of the After Effects. So keep supporting the channel, and in the future I am going deep into the every bit of the After Effects, so you can become a professional into the motion graphics or any other related field to After Effects. For 3D, this opens the door to creating things like 3D icons, animated logos, UI element and motion graphics with real depth, all without leaving After Effects. Another good thing about the shape layers is that they stay vector based. If I can pre-comb the shape layer and increase the size of the shape, you can see that the scale of the shape is increasing, but the sides are still very sharp and crispy. So you can make this scale even to 1000%, the vector remains sharp. So whether you are creating small icons or large motion graphics, shapes will always stay clean and flexible. Mastering the shape tool is one of the first steps to building strong motion graphics inside After Effects. If you learned something new today, leave a like, drop your questions in the comment, and subscribe for more value addition into your edits.